Today we're talking about the Sony A7 III, at least 10 things about it that you're going to want to know if you're in the market for this camera. This has been my workhorse, my main camera for a few years now, so I'm happy to share all the awesome things with you that I love about it. Let's get started. Welcome back, guys, and today we're talking all about the Sony A7 III, a beloved, amazing, fantastic camera. I've loved this thing for years now. It's my go-to. I'm filming on it right now. So we're giving you 10 awesome things about it that you need to know if you're in the market for it, or maybe you're just curious. So let's get started. Number one, the value. The price and the value of this camera, still in this day and age at around $1,800 or less US dollars, is, well, if you ask me, still the best value for money hybrid camera that you can buy. It is phenomenal, and I just love the value of it from day one. Is pretty much why I switched over personally from Canon. So, value. Next, we've got the size and the weight. It is an amazing size and weight. Most mirrorless cameras are built to be small and light and portable, but this thing is just the next level. It's smaller than most. It is even too small if you ask some people. The grip, the ergonomics are a little bit troubling if you have huge hands. I find it okay, but the size for weight for traveling is just, it can't be beat, and I love it. Next, we've got battery life. Absolutely incredible Z-type battery, giving you all-day battery life. I never have to go out and worry about bringing multiple batteries, and for mirrorless cameras for a long time that was a big issue. So I'm really happy to tell you that that's not going to be a problem for you. Buy an extra battery and never worry about battery life. It's just amazing, and there's some manufacturers that are still struggling with this. I don't get it, but luckily with the A7 III, battery life's not going to be an issue for you. Next, we've got dual card slots, and this thing can be used as a professional camera because you've got redundancy. You can absolutely double up whether you're shooting video, photos, RAW, JPEG, it doesn't matter. You're covered. And I personally have had a few instances where memory cards have failed, and I'm very, very lucky that I had that second card slot. So that is an amazing feature and definitely a fantastic thing to have on a camera when you're spending this much money. Next, let's talk about the sensor a little bit. The sensor is phenomenal. It's an amazing low light beast of a camera, incredible low light performance. It's 24 megapixels, which if you ask me is another plus because it's at the sweet spot that doesn't take a heck of a lot of storage space for your computer, editing power in your programs. It's just an all-around great happy medium for the average person. If you want more, you can always go up to the R series, of course, and if you're looking for less, if you only primarily shoot video and you don't do a heck of a lot of photography, there's always something like the A7S II or even the new 3. So for me and for most people, I recommend it. For the average Joe, it's phenomenal. That sensor is incredible, amazing image quality, amazing low light performance and dynamic range. It's really hard to beat. And speaking of awesome, the autofocus in this camera is just incredible. It is absolutely amazing. You're not going to miss much. It's no A9, but for, again, the average person, it's going to keep up with anything you shoot at it pretty much. Birds in flight, no problem. It's fast, it's reliable, and it's got eye autofocus. Amazing eye autofocus. Sony was one of the first to do this, and with the autofocus being so awesome, I'm also so very happy about the support that you get from Sony. When I bought this camera, it didn't have eye autofocus. Now it's got eye autofocus for human and animals. They didn't have to do that, but the support that you get from Sony, the continuation, the follow-up is just amazing. So I've been so thrilled with the autofocus in this camera, in low light, in good light. It just doesn't matter, and it's just a phenomenal feature. Another great thing is the shooting speed. 10 frames per second means you're not going to miss anything. And I've taken advantage of this numerous times, hundreds of times. Shooting animals, shooting wildlife, I know that it's going to be able to keep up with whatever I throw at it. A great fast performer. I love it. Let's talk about video for a second. It does have a few limitations, but it's very capable when it comes to video. A lot of people will upgrade this as a photography camera and be really surprised at what it can do. For me, it's a perfect hybrid camera. It does 4K at 30 FPS, as well as 1080 120. So it's capable. It's not going to be the most advanced. It is 8-bit. It's not your 10-bit 422, but it's capable. Again, I'm filming on it right now, and pretty much everything that you see on the channel is filmed with it. So if you want an idea about what you can get out of this thing, check it out. And there's lots of professionals, some incredible filmmakers out there that are doing far more amazing things that I could ever dream of. So check that out if you're totally into video. And another amazing feature is the inclusion of IBIS. This was probably, for me, I think, the big deciding factor between this camera and the EOS R. The exclusion of IBIS was just a deal breaker for me. And although it's not the best in the world, it is a phenomenal feature to have, especially when you're shooting with primes, and just an added bonus, added value into this already amazing camera. Love it. Okay, so time for a quick recap. And if you're in the market for this camera, you're probably comparing several. So here's a list of everything we've talked about and just a general overview. Probably the number one thing about this camera is its value. And if you ask me, it's still years later the best value for money hybrid camera that you can buy. Number two is the size and the weight. Its fantastic size and weight, although it might be small for some, is a great option if you're a traveler or somebody who just doesn't like to carry a lot of really heavy gear. Next is the battery life. Sony Z-type battery is a total game changer and was a major deciding factor for me when choosing this camera over others. I love not having to worry about battery life. It's a huge deal. Next, we've got your dual card slots for professional use. Unfortunately, it's inevitable that at some point you're going to have a memory card fail on you, and I really hope that it's not when it matters. So with the A7 III, that's not something you have to worry about. Another great thing is the amazing sensor. The 24 megapixel backside illuminated sensor just happens to also be an incredible low light performer, and it has that 24 megapixel sweet spot. So for most applications, the average person is going to be just fine with this. The autofocus capabilities are just another amazing feature of this camera, fully capable, and whatever you throw at it, it's going to be able to handle. Speaking of autofocus, the eye autofocus is just a complete game changer. If you're going from an older camera and you're upgrading, this makes portraits and professional work an absolute no-brainer. I feel like I'm cheating half the time. And next is the updates, the firmware that we're constantly getting from Sony, improving our products, and although they don't address every one of our concerns, they do a great job, just like the eye autofocus. Very much welcomed. Of course, it's also got that fast 10 frames per second shooting speed, which is going to be enough for you birders, or you wildlife shooters, or if you like to shoot sports. Personally, my camera's always on the fastest shooting speed because you never know when you need to capture something awesome. Remember that this camera is also very video capable, and although it is missing some professional features, it's going to be enough for the average Joe, creator, or YouTuber like myself. And finally, it's got IBIS. That in-body image stabilization is just an awesome feature to have. It adds to the experience, and again, it's not the best in the world, but I am very thankful that it's there. And that's my list, my 10 favorite things that I think are pretty darn awesome about this camera. Make sure you check out my video on the 10 worst things about this camera as well, and I'll link that up here for you. So there you go, guys. There's my review of the Sony A7 III. I love this camera. It's been an absolute workhorse. It's literally taken my career and my channel to the next level, so I can completely, fully, and absolutely recommend this camera to you. So guys, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. If you're ready to pull the trigger on this amazing beast of a camera, I'll drop affiliate links down below as well. And like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.